Okay, so let's get started with this particular video, right? And I welcome you all to this particular session, which is lesson number 31. And in this, what we are going to see is you're going to understand different symbols, emojis, and semantics, right? This topic we are going to cover here, right? Now, I hope you guys have already seen the 8 p.m. session, which was on lesson number 30, which was on entities and embed, right? And here this is a continuation of the same session because these are some small topics which is necessary, but not that much important, right? But sometimes when you create a web page, you use these kind of things to make your web page attractive, right? So these are just small topics which we are covering right now. So if you guys are new here and you do not know what's happening here, so let me tell you a brief description about it. So basically we are CodeBeyond, and in this YouTube channel, what we are planning is we are putting up a playlist of front-end development so that any particular beginner can go ahead and use this particular playlist to understand how to become a front-end developer, okay, or how to become a web developer. So in front-end development, we first need to have the understanding of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That's what we are completing here. And once we'll complete HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, we are going to come up with the frameworks and different libraries, right? So that's what is our next plan. Right now, we have already done 80% of HTML, 80% of CSS, and 50% of 50% of JS. So JavaScript comes live at 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. By me, and HTML CSS comes at live at 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. from 9:15 to 10:15 also by me itself. Okay, so these are the timings. So if you want to become a particular front-end developer, then please go ahead and watch these sessions. Videos are already there in the playlist. If you're not being able to find, then please let me know. I can put up the link. Okay. Let's get started. If you do not know about me, then my name is Ritwik Raj and I'm a corporate trainer. I have also worked as a subject matter expert and research analyst in most of the edtech companies, and I have 3+ years of teaching experience. I've trained graduates and corporate employees of Verisent and Capgemini. I've trained more than 30K students till now. It is increasing day by day. The subjects which I take is mostly into front-end, back-end, and database languages, and mostly into full stack development. And the interview preparation guidelines, the tips and tricks to follow, all those things I also do take. Now, the very amazing thing about these sessions is that we are coming up with a code which is RIT10. If you can see, this is my code which is RIT10. If you can use this code, you can get a free level sample test paper. Now, if you don't know where to use the code and what is this Relevel sample test paper, so about Relevel, I'm going to just tell you in 1 minute. And if you guys already know what is Relevel, then you know how important is this sample test paper, right? So if you want to prepare for that Relevel test, if you get this particular free Relevel sample test paper, it's gonna be a 50-50 match, and you're going to understand what kind of questions will be asked in those tests, right? So you'll get a perfect idea of how the questions will be asked, and you can crack that particular level test, right? And then you can go ahead with your profile. So let me tell you, if you do not know what is Relevel, basically many a times candidate do go into those colleges like tier 3 colleges or some kind of college where MNC companies doesn't come in, or maybe you are doing some degree which is BA or maybe BCom or BSc, and you want to jump into IT field, and you have already applied to 50-60 companies, but still no one is calling you back to get you interviewed, right? So what is the problem? The problem is basically can be anything. It can be your degree, it can be your connections, it can be your marks, it can be your college, right? The reason can be anything. But with Relevel, what is happening? It is India's first test hiring platform by Unacademy, which is helping job seekers find their dream jobs. So you can get a job on the basis of your skill and talent, and not on the basis of your degree or college or whatever you're doing. Okay, so if you have the skill, if you have the knowledge, if you can solve some problems, logical problems, then you are good to go. So what you have to do and what are the benefits? So basically you have to give a free test. Again, I'm repeating, this free test. You have to give this free test, which is of 1,000 marks. Understand 1,000 marks is a very huge marks, but do not get worried. The questions will be really easy. If you have the skill, you will be able to crack it. So if you're scoring above 700 out of those 1,000 marks, then we will create a profile for you, and that profile will be shared by all our clients, whomsoever we are connected with. Over 50 plus companies we are connected with, and those are top startups and unicorns like Upgrad and all other things, all other companies. So you'll get a call from them, you'll get interviewed, and you'll get hired. Okay. Now, suppose you're scoring below 300, below 700, right? So what's going to happen? After 30 days, you can reattempt the test again, right? So cool. Now, suppose you don't know what type of questions will be asked. So here my coupon code will help you. So my coupon code, which is RIT10, will help you get the free sample paper, so that you get through those sample papers and you can understand that which kind of questions are asked, how it is asked, and which format it is asked. 1,000+ job positions are opened with Relevel. We have business development, front-end development, back-end development. So you have the chance to get inside a company, right? How to register yourself in Relevel? There's a link in the description. If you scroll down in the video description, you can find the link. Click on that link, sign up. You have to just give your mobile number and one OTP will come. You have to just do that. Then select the test of your choice, whichever skill you have, front end, back end, or business. Click on select. Click on select, and then you can go ahead with filling the or booking a slot when you want to give the level test, right? So slots are limited, so I suggest you book it fast. Okay, so please book the slot, and then after that you can fill on the details to get the admit card. Full name, email ID, birth year, current state, and then the gender. Once you fill these all things, do not forget to put the coupon code here, which is enter referral code, apply. When you use the coupon code, you will get inside this page where you will have your profile and you will have the sample paper there. So you can click on it, you can get the sample paper, and it will be very easy for you to crack the test, right? So do not waste time, as you know the seats are limited. So go ahead and register for it today. Many of the friends have already done it and they are availing all the benefits of it. So go ahead and do the same thing. Okay, so register for Relevel today. Also, please join the Telegram channel. I'm just checking whether I'm live or not. I hope everything is fine. Yes, everything is fine and I'm live, right? So you can join the Telegram channel because all the notifications you will get there, all the updates you will get there, and all the live sessions, when it is coming live, which session is coming when, those all updates you'll get here. Not only that, but all the project details, whatever files I'll create, all those files also you are going to get there, right? So please join the Telegram channel as well. Also, please do subscribe the channel. I don't have to say this because you are following me and you are watching the sessions. So if you're liking this, please hit like to the session. There are so many previous videos which I have done already, and those are there in the playlist. So go ahead and watch it. If you like it, please like it. And if you want to share with your friends, please do share it so that they can also avail free YouTube content. Okay. Let's get started with the today's topic, which is HTML symbol, emojis, and semantics. We have already seen entities and embed. So now we are in the symbol, emojis, and semantics. So without wasting much time, let's get started. So I'm going to open my VSC. You can see here that we have opened the VSC, and this is the code which we worked on. So right now I don't want to work on this. I'm going to close that. I'm just going to create a new file. In the new file, I'm just going to name it as, let's say, symbol.html. Cool. So in symbol.html, we are going to try to write some codes with HTML, and we are going to see how we can use some different symbols. Now, symbols are basically those kind of letters which are not there in our keyboard, and we won't be able to write those particular symbols using our keyboard. Then there's a different way how we can use it, right? This is much more similar to your entities, but these are mostly the symbols and not the shortcut way. Okay, so because you can give lesser than, greater than, and these all things you can give it by the keyboard, right? But these symbols you can't give it by the keyboard. So that is why this is another topic. So I'm going to just write here understanding symbols. The next is emojis and semantics. So this is my title. Now I'm going to start the body. Okay. And let's understand how it's going to run. First of all, let me open it with live server because you should also see the output. Let me copy this. Let me show you the browser first of all. I hope you can see it. And this is my page, which is understanding symbols, emojis, and semantics. Let's come back to the code and let's now do it one by one. Okay. So in the symbols, we have a lot of symbols which you have to use. Okay. Euro, pounds, yen, those all cent, those all are also symbols because those are those kind of symbols which we don't have in my keyboard, right? So that's why those are also some symbols. Okay. Now here what we are going to do, we are going to use some of the symbols which you have never seen. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to use this for all. Now this symbol is basically, I'll tell you how to use this. So we use it like this, and let me show you how do we write this in our code and how does it appear. Okay. So here I'm just going to write, let's say that paragraph, this let's say this web page is for all the employees. Okay, this is what is the paragraph which I have written. Now I want to indicate for all the employees, right? This I want to indicate with a symbol. You must know that in mathematics we use this particular symbol which is for all. For all is a mathematic kind of symbol. If you have I equal to 0, then for all I equal to 0. For all the numbers I equal to 0. That's how we use the symbol. So let's use this for all. Okay, and let's go to my browser. Let's check out how this is appearing. One second. So let me show you my browser. This is empty right now because I've not saved the thing. Now I've saved it and you can see this web page is, and then the symbol is coming. This is what is for all. Yes, the opposite A. Obviously you can't use this particular thing in your keyboard, by your keyboard. So you have this kind of thing. Okay, you have the symbol. Now understand that this you can also give it by the hexadecimal number which you can give. For this is 8704, but right now I'm not writing that because you don't need this, right? You don't need actually those information. So you will not remember those hexadecimal numbers. You will always be using this kind of things, right? So I'm just using this itself, right? The next thing is for again mathematical, which is for partial differential. Okay. In M1, M2, you must have seen this kind of symbol, which is partial differential. And if you are creating a web page where you want to show this symbol, then you have to use this kind of symbol. Okay. So what you have to do, you have to use your part. When you use part, you are getting the partial differential symbol. So right now I'm not going to use any kind of paragraph. I'm just going to write this thing simply. So I'm just going to write and part semicolon. That's how I'm just going to do it. Okay, let's save this. Let's see my browser whether it is giving me a partial differential thing or not. So you can see this is what is your partial differential symbol. I'll keep my web page in this zoom 200% so that you can see all the symbols one by one. Okay, next what I'm going to use is there exist. Now this is also again a mathematical kind of symbol. So I'm going to use here and I'm going to use here exist. Okay, this is there exist. The next one is empty sets. Empty sets is the null value kind of symbol. So let me show you how does this appear together. Going to save this, going to my browser. So this is your all exist, the opposite E, and then you have this, which is your null set, the empty set. Okay, let's come back. So these two have done. Let me write it here for you so that you get to copy this all things in your notebook. So partial exists, then we have there exists. The next one is empty sets. So here we just need to write empty. The next one is nothing but your nabla. So this is basically the opposite of triangle, right? So this is also used in many of the mathematical terms. So I'm using and then we'll use here NABLA. Okay. Let's use this also. Let's first write all these symbols and then we are going to show you how it is used. Element of is and then ISIN. The next one is not an element of, so not an element of, and this one will have NOTIN. Okay. The next one is contains as number. And here you can give it an I. Let's try to use these all once and let's see how the symbols are appearing, because I can't just write the symbols. We have to see how the symbols are appearing right now. I'm going to just use here this one, which is an element of. This is not an element of. This is just the opposite. And the next one is NI, which is contains as member. This is also a mathematical representation. Let's save this. Let's go back to my browser and let's see how these symbols are appearing. Okay. One by one we'll understand. So this is your partial differentiation. This is your there all exist. This is your empty sets. And this is your what we have told about NABLA, right? That's what it is. And then we have the element of. This is not an element of. And this is the opposite one, which is contains as member, right? So these are all the symbols. The next ones which we are going to see is the pi. So how do we give a pi? Let's say here I'm giving and then PROD. This is what is your n array product, which is looking like a pi, and then you have the sigma. So the sigma symbol is also written as sum, because sigma is mostly for summation, right? So add prod will give you the n array product. Okay, just let me write here n array product. This is the symbol for that, which is PROD. The last one is nothing but the summation, which is also called a sigma. So we have and then we have sum. Okay, done with all the symbols. Let's understand how this appears. These many symbols we have. If you look at, okay, I'm not in my page. Yeah, so see, this is what is product. This is what is your n array product, and that is the next one is for your summation and sum. So have a look in my web page how it is appearing. So this is your pi, which is nothing but your n array product, and this is your sigma, the summation of all the digits. So you can use these things in your mathematical symbols. Whenever you are writing a web page and you want these symbols to be represented, you can use these symbols there. Okay, so now that we have understood all the symbols of this one, we have some more Greek letters which you can understand, right? We have some Greek letters like alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, and zeta, right? So directly we can use those. How we can use those? Let's say that I'm giving here HR. How we can directly use it? You have to just write simply and then you have to write those Greek names. So we have alpha. Similarly, you can write beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, and zeta. So here, let's write all of them, and at once we will see how it's gonna appear. Okay. This is beta, gamma, The next one is delta. The next one is epsilon. And the next one is the last one, which is theta. Okay, let's save this. Let's go back to my browser and have a look. So you can see you have alpha, beta, this is the gamma, this is the delta. If you can't see, let me increase it. This is your epsilon and this is your zeta. Okay, these are the symbols. Again, you can't use this within your keyboard, so that's why we have these symbols in HTML. Now, what next? So we have some other kind of entities. We have already seen copyright sign. We have seen registered sign. There are something also called as trademark. So just gonna put HR because all my Greek letters are done. So here, what you can use is you can use just say trade. Okay, just this much. And we have some more euro sign we have already seen. Yes, this is important. This one is really important. So P, let's say you're using and LARR. Now what is this LARR? This is leftwards arrow. Okay, leftwards arrow, what this will do, this will basically give you an arrow symbol. So many a times when we create a e-commerce website, right, then we write buy now, right, or add to cart, and after add to cart we give an arrow. So how to give that arrow? You can't use the keyboard, so you have to give this LARR, or you can use UARR, which gives the symbol upwards. So I'll show you how it will look like. You have UARR, you have also RARR, which is for right, and one more for down. Okay, so these are the symbols, five symbols which you have seen. Now let's understand how this looks like. If I go to my browser, if I show you, you can see the trademark symbol. This is the TM. Registered trademark was giving R. This also you can see in some of the logos. Above the logo, this will be written, right? In some of the web pages. Then we have this arrow, which is your LARR, leftwards arrow, right? Then we have upwards arrow, we have rightwards arrow, and then the downwards arrow, right? So these are the different arrows styles which you can give. Again, we have some more symbols for deck of cards. Okay, deck of cards. How we can use those? Let's understand. The deck of cards, again, these are some of the symbols which we use for pointers, or let's say you're creating a game. In those also, in some web pages, we use deck of cards to show. So that's where we'll use this. These are some interesting things. Many of the developers don't know about it, but we do use it on our web page. Sometimes when you want to create a very creative kind of web page, so we use this kind of things. So spades, this will give me a spade kind of the symbol. Okay, this is for clubs. Then we have the hearts, and at last we have our diamonds. So for diamonds, we are not going to write totally diamonds. What we are going to do is we are going to write DIAMS. Okay, let's save this. Let's see how this is gonna look like. So if I go back to my browser, you can see here that you have the spades, you have the clubs, you have the hearts, and you have the diamonds. Okay, now we are totally done with all the symbols. These are all the symbols which you can use in your web pages, okay, directly by just writing the entity name. Okay, so you can use the entity name and you can write all these symbols. Now we are going to go ahead and use emojis, right? And we are going to see how to use those emojis. I hope you can note it down. These are all the names, and that's why I've written it here. The other things are very self-descriptive. That is why I've not included that there. Okay, so this is alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta. Trade, then this is leftwards arrow and upwards, right, and down, and this is spades, clubs, hearts, and diamonds. So these are very self-descriptive. That's why I've not included here. Okay, So we are done with symbol.html. Now what we are going to do, we are going to understand the emojis, all right? And after emojis, we are going to go back to semantic elements. Semantic elements, I've kept it in last because that's very important topic. So we're going to understand what is semantic element later on at last. You already know what are the elements in semantic, but you don't know how to arrange it. So that's what I'm going to show you. Okay, let's close this. Let's create a new file and let's write here emojis.html. You must have understood what is this. This is basically to provide an emojis, right? You can't actually use the emojis when you are creating a web page. You can't just say colon and then a bracket and it's a smiley, right? You can't do that. So suppose you are creating a very fun page and you want to include some emojis. You want to increase its size. You want to increase its width. So how you can do all those things, let's understand. Okay. One second. Okay. So in the document, I'm just going to write here, understanding emojis in HTML. Okay. And in the body, what I'm going to do, see, the hexadecimal numbers are basically those kind of numbers which we can also write it as a letter. Let's say we are writing capital A, capital B, capital C. We can also do that, or we can use it as a hexadecimal number. Okay. So let's say that I want to write a paragraph and I want to write, I want to display capital A, comma B, comma C. Okay. What will happen? This is gonna give me the same output which we are expecting, right? It's gonna give me, one second. Yeah, this is gonna give me this. I want to display ABC, right? But suppose I want to print this particular thing with the use of hexadecimal values. So A, B, C is always having some hexadecimal values, right? What are the hexadecimal values for those? We have 65, 66, and 67. So what I'm going to write? We can write hash 65. We can write 66 and then 67. Now if I save this, will there be any change in my browser? One second. I think I'm missing something. Yeah, I have not given the entity criteria. That is and symbol and the semicolon. That's how we write the hexadecimal values, right? So and semicolon is important. Let's save this. Let's go back to my browser and now you'll be able to see that there is, I want to display ABC, right? In the same manner, the emojis are also having some hexadecimal values and that's what we are going to use. Okay. So you don't have any words which you can write like smiley, happy face, sad face. You don't have those kind of things. So here you need to remember all those numbers. No developer is remembering all those numbers. You can go ahead and search it in Google and you can find those numbers and you can use it. Okay. So do not worry about that. Now understand that if I want to write this kind of thing, so I'm writing here style font size 48 pixel and I've written these four hexadecimal numbers here 128512, 128516, 128525 and 12811151. These numbers, I don't know what this will do, right? But let's understand what is happening. So if I go back to my browser, I have not saved the file. I'm going to save it now and you can see what is happening. I think my browser is in, not in 100. Now it's in 100 and you can see this is what is a smiley which I'm getting. Why is it so big? Because I've given here 48 pixel. That's why these smileys are coming. These emojis are coming in 48 pixel. If you want to bring it in a normal font size, let's understand how we can do that. So basically you have to remove this. Have a look how this is gonna appear normally. It's gonna be very small. So just the size of your text. How the text is appearing, the same way it's gonna appear, right? That's why I made it a little bit bigger so that you can see what's happening. Cool. Fine. So this was the emojis part where we have understood how we can put up all the emojis. There are so many other emojis which you can also try. So for that you have different numbers. Okay, so let's say that I'm using HR, and here let's say I'm going to give some of the hexadecimal values. Okay, the values which I've already used, you can see that is giving me an option that all these values you have already used. So 182851251. Okay, let's do 128513. Okay, and go to copy this. I'm going to use it again. I'm going to make it just 4. I'm going to make it just 5. 6 you have already used here, and I'm going to just use 7 also. Okay, so these are some of the face smileys which are there in my browser. If you see right now what all emojis are there, you can find that we have 3 face emojis, and we have one which is a love one, right? And that's why the number is also changed there. If you can see here, the number of this code is different than these all, right? So now if I save this and if I go to my browser, I have to give here this thing because it's not gonna affect now. So let me give this, and let me close the paragraph here. Let me remove this closing bracket from here. Okay, now if I go back to my browser, you can see you're getting all the different kind of emojis also. Okay, now if you want to try something else, what you can do, again come back, copy this, let me show you some more emojis, and then we'll move to our semantics. Okay, so there are some more. Let's understand how do we write that. So we have 507, 508, 509, 510, we have 511, and then the 12 we already know. So let's write 511. Here I'm going to also give one HR. I'm gonna save this, going to my browser. Let's understand how this is looking. So these are some of the emojis. So by the number, by the hexadecimal number, you can get a whole list of emojis also in some of the when you search it in Google. But right now I'm just showing this many. Let's move ahead. Let's move to the semantic topic, and let's understand what is semantic. Okay, so in semantic we have already understood some of the things. We already know what is a semantic, but I have not told you the term that is what is a semantic. Okay, so let me try to explain you what is semantic. Basically, we have understood some of the tags which we have understood in a block element, right? When we are trying to understand the different types of element, I did explain you about the block element, and the block element I did taught you about some of the tags which we use to create our whole web page. Something like header. One second. Something like header, and then we also had footer, right? The next we had was aside. The next we taught about section. If you have not seen this particular live session, go ahead and watch it, because I've clearly explained what are these. But now in this session also I'm going to clearly mention what are these. We have also explained article. We have explained about nav, right? Then we have understood about fig caption. One was figure. So these were all the parts of a web page where we can write something, right? We have section, and one more was there, which was main. These were the tags which we have seen. Now understand, there is a totally a different format. How do we actually mention these things? Okay, so how do we mention these things are nothing but if you talk about header, this is the very first part of a web page. Okay, so the very first section where the logo comes in, where the particular web page logos comes in, that is what is the header. At the last, you will find all the different links, that is what is the footer. And aside means in the web page there'll be aside, you will have two bars where you can write the content or you can give some links, right? That is aside. An article and section, we use it to give in the content. So in between the area, we'll have the content, right? So the content is written inside either article tag or in the section. How is it different? Sections are created when you have different one paragraph. If you have one paragraph, that will go inside one section. If you have another paragraph, that will come inside another section. But when you talk about article is a totally one particular concept. So suppose if I'm writing one emojis section, the emoji section will be one article, the whole article. It can have 3 to 4 sections. So one article will have different sections. Okay. Similarly, if I'm creating what was the symbol topic I'm creating, symbol topic will be an article. Inside that you will have different sections. Okay. Nav is for navigation bar, is just comes below the header, or the navigation can also come inside the header. So when we create the header, we have the navigation bar in the side, either in the right hand or in the left hand. That's where we use navigation bar, the nav link. Fig caption is for the caption provided to the images. Figure is a fig caption. Let's not write it here because that's not a container. That's basically to write the caption. Figure is a container which will contain all the images. So let's say that you have a list of images which you want to show it in the web page. So you will use figure, and inside this figure tag, you will write all the different images. Section. Okay, I have written already section. Why I have written it again? Main. What is main? Main we start whenever we are writing the content. So the main content, when they start, we start with main tag. So let me tell you how this is actually written. After header, you will be having nav. Cool. After this, footer will go at last. Why am I showing you this? Because this is how you need to create a web page. This is how you need to maintain everything. Let's say main, let's say I'm putting it here. Aside, I'm going to put it above main. And in the main, I'm going to have article. Inside article, you will have sections. Nav, let's remove it. Figure can be anywhere. It can be basically inside main, but it can be inside article, inside section, anywhere you can write. And that's when they come footer. Okay. So this is how this particular thing is written. Okay. So let's first understand how sections are used and how we can create a section code. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to comment this. I'm going to comment this as well. Let's say till here. And now I'm going to write a code for my section. So because my sections, which I have told, is nothing but a paragraph. So let's see how this appears. You can see we have this section which I've created, section. We have the H1P. This is one section. Another section is this. If I save this, if I show you my web page, this is how it is appearing. This is not doing anything. The section tag is basically not doing anything. This is just showing me the H1 and the paragraph, right? Even if I don't write the section tag, then also it's going to be the same. But have a look. If I go to inspect and if I just minimize this a little bit, drag it below. Now, if I open this body part and if I open this, you can see here two sections. So you can see when I'm hovering into this section, it's showing me the first part. When I'm hovering into second one, it's showing me the another section. That's why we do use this kind of semantics. It becomes very easy to understand. Let's suppose that I'm not using sections, right? I'm not using this. Okay, let's save this. Let's reload my, let's go to my web page And you can see now, if I open this body, here you can see I have directly H1 and P. Those things are now not considered as one thing. H1 and P is not considered as one thing. These are separate. So if I want to do something, some properties I want to give in both H1 and P, I can't do it. I have to separately give it to H1. The same thing I have to again give it to P. But if I have section and if I want changes to be done in both H1 and P, the same kind of properties I want to change, then we have to have these two things inside one particular tag, which is a section. Okay, that's why we always prefer to have section. If you have not understood, again let me explain in an easy manner. So let's say section is having two things, right? H1 and P. If I want H1 and P to have the same CSS property, let's say that I want H1 and P to be in center. So I will give section that property. So if I give section that property, text align equal to center, I'm going to give it only once, right? But if suppose I'm not using section, I'm using H1P separately, and I want both H1 and P to be in the center, then what I have to use? I have to either use class and I have to write it in the CSS, or what I can do separately, I can give text align center to both of them. That will be more tedious task, right? That's why we use here section. So semantic is used here, and that's why you can see the changes here. So here it's now in a section. If I open this, then I can go separately. I can close it, right? That's what is a section. Now let's understand how and what we can use for article. Okay, now article can be used for any purpose. So when I say the word article is used to write many things. Okay, it can contain let's say a blog post, right? You're posting a blog, let's say a forum post, let's say a poll. If you want to include you want all the comments to be there. Okay, you want the product cards, like a particular t-shirt you want to bring, so that will come inside article. So you must have seen in Myntra and Amazon, there are different cards, and all the different cards, there are different products which is shown, right? How do they create this? You can put all the different cards inside one article. Okay, so that also you can create, or you can also create some well-known newspaper articles. Okay, that's where we use our articles, right? So let's use one of the program here, and let's understand. Now you won't be able to identify what is the difference between a section and an article. Okay, but have a look what I'm doing. So I've written an article here. I have the H2 Google Chrome. I have a paragraph. Again, I have the article. This also can be done using section, right? But understand what is section and article. So this what I'll do. Let's say I'm reviewing this. Let's say I'm removing this whole thing. Okay. So in this section, I have H1 and P, and after that I have an article. Oh God, 1 second. I have an article, okay? And in that article, inside that section, I have 3 articles like that. I have one article, second article, third article, third article, and then I'm going to close this section. Okay? So one section is having 3 articles, which it is showing me. Something like, let's say, this section is gonna show me the men's trousers, right? Men's trousers section. In men's trouser section, I have 3 articles. I have 3 products on men's trouser. Maybe the Puma one, maybe the Nike one, maybe the Adidas one. Okay, so that's how it's gonna happen. Now if I save this, if I go to my browser, you can see you have this H1, and then inside this you have 3 articles. Can you see this is H1 and this is H2? So we understood, right, that this is the main content inside which we have this sub content. So this is, let's say that this is the men's trousers, and this is Puma, this is Nike, this is Adidas. You can do something like that. Now if you see in the element also, if you see in the section, you can find one section. You have only one section. This is the complete section. If I open this, you will find 3 articles. one article, second article, third article. So how cool is it, right? If you want to apply some color to this article, you can do that, right? Let's come back to the code. Let's say what I want to do is in this article, right? I want to apply some style. So let's say I want to apply some style. I want to say that this background color, I want to change it to black. And maybe I want to give a color which is white, because when I'm giving black color, then I want the text color should be changed, right? So if I save this and if I go back to my browser, you can see only that particular article is now black. So how can I make it more attractive? What I can do is I can copy this style. I can give it alternate to this article. Save this, go back. You can see. So you are actually changing in web page design, and that's how you have done it, right? WWF, whatever I've written, that also you can give the background. You can change the section background. So we can do that. Understand, when you're changing the section background, what's going to happen? Section background is something else. So when you're writing here style, background, color, let's say you're giving here lime. Is there no color with yellow? Okay, let's say lime. I know it will look very bright, but just for understanding. Or else let me choose some dim color. Something like this, right? This is the RGBA which I've used. Now, if you look in my browser, okay, so you can see what is happening. The whole section color is changing. Even this section color is changing, but because I have given here already some other color, that's why it is appearing like this. So you can do any changes by using this semantics, right? That's what I'm trying to explain. Let's move ahead. Let's move to a different part and let's understand how we can use it. So I'm just going to create something, okay? And let's understand what we are going to do. So let's comment this. And here, let's say I've written this code. Now understand what is there. We have an article. This article, if you look here, the line is getting closed here, if you can see, right? This article is getting closed here. This article is getting closed here. And similarly, this article is getting closed here, right? So all these things are article, right? You can make this a section. There's no problem. Okay, you can consider this as section. It all depends on the developer. If you want to make it, name it as section, it won't change anything. It will do the same thing which you want, right? So we have all those things here, right? We have the browser, we have the all browsers. Everything is perfect here, right? Now, what's going to happen when I run this? Same thing will come. However, we have seen it in my browser. If I go back, you can see we have art. Now, see, when you're using article, we have given the same thing. One article, second article, third article, correct? Now let's say I want to put some CSS into it, okay? So let's go back. Let's try to give some CSS. So what I'm going to give, we have already some of the CSS given, classes given here, right? We have all browsers and browser. So here in the style, I'm going to give some things. So let's say the class, I'm going to use here browsers, and here let's say I'm giving margin 0. Next thing I'm going to give here is padding. I'm going to give 5 pixel. I'm not saving the particular file. I've not saved it yet. The background color, I'm just going to give here light gray. Cool. I've not saved the file. Let's open my browser. The browser is just looking simply like this, right? As soon as I save my file, you can see you are getting margin 0. Padding is there. If you know what is padding, you can see some space here, right? That's what is padding. And the light color in the background. Why is it all gray? Because the class all browsers where I've given the command, that is basically all browsers, is in the first article. Okay, that's why everything is gray. Okay, now in the next ones, what I'll do some changes. So what changes we'll do, let's understand. Here I'm going to use dot browser. Understand that this dot browser is in the nested articles, the three articles which are nested, right? So here what I'm going to give, let's say I'm giving here background, let's say I'm giving white. So the background which I want for this is white. So let's come back, let's save this. All these are white. Okay, now is the time that you have to understand something very important. So have a look right now in the browser how these are appearing, right? Have a look at this particular heading and this heading. Can you see the closeness of this? Google Chrome is very close to that white border. Most popular browser is also very close. So have a look how it is looking, right? And now what I'm going to do, come back. Here I'm going to change something. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to write dot browser. Okay. And I'm going to give a greater than symbol. I'm going to use H2, right? Here I'm going to use margin 4 pixel. And also I'm going to give a font size. I want to increase it to 90%. Let's say I've given this much. I've not saved the file. I've given dot browser greater than H2. What is the meaning of that? H2 is what? H2 is basically this Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox and Microsoft Edge thing. And dot browser is what? Dot browser is the article itself. So what is the meaning of this? Let's understand. Go to the browser. Right now I've not saved the file. So this is how it is looking. What all CSS properties I've written? Margin I've given 4 pixel and font size increased to 90%. Let's understand whether the effect is happening on H2 or is it happening on dot browser. So I'm going to save this 1, 2 and 3. So you can see what is happening. 90% is all the text. So all the text effect is happening. And margin is happening into this. Can you see? There's a small space which is coming here. The small space which is coming here, right? So the meaning of dot browser greater than H2 is that in the dot browser, you will get the margin and in the H2, you will have the font size. So both the things are working here. Okay. So in the projects, we'll again use this kind of things. We'll again use this greater than symbol and we will try to use more of CSS. But right now, I hope you have understood this much. Okay. So article section nav, I hope you have understood these all things. Let me see if you have anything else. Headers, footers, I think you will get it because I've already explained you in one of the project. When I have done CSS project, I've written and I've used header and nav. Where is the project? The project was in a different folder. Okay. So I've used header tag and nav tag also in those projects. So you can follow that. And that's what it is. Okay. So that's how you use all the semantics. We will use and create a particular web page where we will use all the semantics aside, nav, header, footer, section, article, main, everything. So don't worry, in the project it will be there. So I hope you have understood all these things, which is symbol, emojis and syntax. So that is all about this session. If you have any questions, please do let me know. Sumu Acharya, bro, sorry to interrupt, but will you teach Tailwind? Yes, we will be teaching Tailwind. Okay, we'll be teaching Tailwind also. When we'll start with Bootstrap framework, side by side, we will be learning Tailwind CSS. Okay, so don't worry about that. And I hope you have understood all of those things. Sir, you left great learning. Yes, I have. And I'm putting up courses here for free. Okay, and basically I'm doing freelancing as a software development, as a software developer. So I work on some of the projects based on full stack development. Okay, that's what I'm doing right now. Any questions, anything, please do not waste your time. Please practice all these things because all these videos are coming up one by one. And I'll segregate HTML, CSS and JavaScript in different playlists that we will do. Please do not forget to use the link and join the channel of Telegram, because there you'll get all the updates about my live sessions, and all the project files in a Google Drive you'll get there. So please go to Telegram channel and join that. Also, please subscribe to the channel so that you get to notified in your YouTube as well. And please like and share this particular session. Share it with your relatives, share it with your classmates, so that they also get a guidance on what is going on here, and they can also avail this benefit of free content. Again, Relevel, you guys already have understood. Please use the coupon code to get the free sample test paper. Any doubts, please let me know. Thank you so much for joining the session. I'll meet you really soon, which is tomorrow. Tomorrow, 4 to 5 p.m., we'll have a JavaScript session where we'll understand dates, okay, dates in JavaScript. And the next sessions, which is tomorrow, 8 p.m. for HTML, we are going to cover the most amazing thing, HTML Canvas and SVG. Most of you will not be knowing what is Canvas and SVG. So this is just a graphic animation. We'll try to understand what is SVG and Canvas in tomorrow's session, okay? So please try to come live tomorrow also. Thank you so much, guys. I'll take a break, and I'll meet you tomorrow. So have your dinner, and good night. Bye bye. Take care.